Hey everyone, welcome back to Prairie Grown Reviews. We review books, games, movies, and TV shows, and today we are back for the Book of Boba Fett, episode 1. Do you remember the title of the episode?
The Stranger in a Strange Land.
Very good memory. Now, Nat.
Yeah, good call. I didn't want to skip over my section. Anyways, as usual, if you're interested in being up to date with all of our new YouTube content, more coming soon, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. We'd love to see more of you on our channel.
Subscribe.
So, please do that. Also, comment on your thoughts or anything that we've done so far. If there's anything you want us to cover personally, we'd like to see that too. If videos aren't your thing, we have a podcast as well, which should be revived very soon, I hope.
I can see it.
Our hiatus will end very soon. You heard it here second. I think we mentioned it last week.
Yep.
But that should be coming back soon.
Oh, I am. Keep talking. I'm
yep.
gonna find my bag.
If you don't know why Austin's getting a
Watch
bag,
our Hawkeye videos.
Yes, it was
all of them. It was a series.
It was
kind of. Yeah.
It was a whole chain of events. And then finally, written reviews are on our website, www.prairiegrownreviews.com. So while we're waiting for Austin to get his bag,
just mention it's spoilers. We've got spoilers for Book of
My
Boba
girlfriend is
Fett.
wonderful. Welcome to Iron Man.
No, that's
So,
actually not a bad bag, not compared to one. So we're going to be talking about spoilers. So be prepared for spoilers. If you want to know why he's wearing a bag, go check out at least episode 6 of our Hawkeye reviews, but the ones previous will explain it in more detail.
Yeah.
Okay, so spoilers now. So we open and we see little Boba Fett, kind of, but then the big thing is we see him in the Sarlacc pit. The question that everyone's had since 1983, did Boba Fett actually die? Because that's a terrible way for a badass character to go out. He got knocked in the jetpack by Han Solo, and he falls into the Sarlacc pit.
so the answer is no, he didn't die.
He didn't die. Well, if you saw Mando, you know he didn't die.
Yeah.
But the question was, how did he get out of the Sarlacc pit? Well,
We still don't really know.
He kind of burnt it and killed it, and then crawled out through the sand. So that's their answer. It was cool. It was cool to see the inside of the Sarlacc pit and see him work his way out. But it wasn't a long scene. But then that really transitions into what most of this episode is, which is a flashback to Boba Fett starting to communicate and live with the Tusken Raiders. He hasn't learned their language yet, though we know later on he wears their garbs and weaponry. But yes, he has started to live with them because they captured him. The Jawas also, they stole his stuff, which we saw. We heard about, but we actually see it, so that was kind of cool. But honestly, for this episode, without trying to go plot by plot point, because we don't want to do that.
It's mainly just crusty Boba Fett.
Yeah, we're just seeing him get beat up a lot, and then we get to see how he kind of tries to escape and fails, and he earns their respect by killing a big monster and saving one of their younglings. He gets water, sign of respect. And yeah, I mean, that was a really cool scene. I did like the way he used the chain, it was really badass, and he was really showing his strength even though he was super weak. And
yeah, I was gonna say, if Disney didn't own Star Wars, I would have loved to see whatever alien thing get wrecked a bit more. He deserved to die in a more gruesome manner. Would love to see him torn apart.
But even Disney hasn't always owned Star Wars, and it's never been the most, because it's a series for kids and adults. So you can't go too gruesome.
Man, I wanted him to die.
It was I found it was a very short-lived
all we got
scene, though.
It went quick.
He got hand comes down, arms go up, and then
and then he's banging Boba Fett a bit. He throws him, and then all of a sudden Boba Fett's chain, choke, dead.
Yeah. I don't know.
Wow,
They missed out on the chain snapping part.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't understand how that happened.
I think it happened when the Rodan thing got smashed into the ground, and
he's
smashed off his ankle.
Maybe.
Yeah, his leg.
We don't know that. Everything was off screen, so we don't know.
That's fair.
But now moving on, we also going to present day. We see that Boba Fett has taken his place as the leader of the crime underworld of Tatooine and Mos Espa? I can't remember. I think he's not Mos Espa.
Yep.
Yeah. And he's taken over from Jabba the Hutt and Bib Fortuna, who had taken over from Jabba after Jabba died in Return of the Jedi. But now he's asking for people to bring in tributes or whatever, and the mayor basically gives him screw you, because he's not giving him a tribute. He's like, I don't respect you.
Indirectly asked for
Yeah, he does.
And worse, he asked for one back.
Yeah, he asked for one back.
Now, we see actually a little bit of restraint out of Boba here to not. Now it's like restraint, but also it would have been a really bad.
If he
You
kills the
don't
mayor,
kill-
well, unless you
statement.
kill the mayor and then you just don't,
No,
you
no,
elect
no.
someone who's on your side.
That's not gonna work.
That would not work.
That would not
We've
work
met
at all.
Star Wars. That doesn't work in Star Wars. Not a chance.
Yeah.
No way they have fair democratic processes. No chance.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean the prequels were
chance.
all about politics and they weren't fair or just. So
It's not like the New Republic's doing anything new, anyways. So
they're just they're
It wasn't
a
Mando
republic.
all about the corruption in the New Republic, anyways.
Well,
So
they were kind of corrupt, but not 100% corrupt.
They were.
They were
lesser
trying their
two
best, but there
evils.
was a few that were corrupt.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the New Republic was set up by Leia, Luke, and Han, but
Yeah.
mostly Leia. But so she's not corrupt, but people under her could be.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we see, he goes into town and he's like, he's trying to establish himself, but he says he doesn't want to rule with fear. He wants to rule with respect.
Yeah.
But then he nearly gets his ass beaten by these dudes with shields. They do kick their butts, but he nearly loses.
A couple
And-
times.
yeah.
He gets like knocked on the ground and he has to be carried back to his Bacta tank.
Boba Fett is in a real bad place right now.
He's not in his
Not at
peak condition.
all. Not even a little
I'm
bit.
not surprised. Not
Which-
gonna lie, but
Could prove some issues later in the series because if he can't, like we said, as
Rule
watching
with
it,
an iron fist.
if he's gonna rule with respect,
he needs to be
he
strong.
can't lose to
Nah.
anybody ever.
You
At
can't. You can't
That's
lose.
how you lose it, right?
Even today's showing was a bad step.
Yeah.
Talking about those today's showing, those assassins sucked as being assassins. You don't.
Okay.
They weren't
announce-
sneaky.
You aren't
They were
supposed to announce your presence
Whoever-
and
yeah.
make a scene in the middle of the town.
It should have been
You know,
Warrior
street.
2 instead of Assassin 2.
Yeah.
pretty much.
They weren't very quiet.
They weren't very quiet. They weren't very good at their jobs.
No.
Clearly in this universe you have sniper rifle blasters, so like she should just been sniped. She didn't even have his helmet on, right? Like he
No.
had no
He was-
No,
protection.
because his helmet got knocked out of his hands.
No,
It
because
got
it was
filled
filled
with
with
money.
coins.
That's
He
why it
couldn't-
wasn't on his head.
Well, yeah, but he was carrying it and when they landed, it got knocked out of his hands.
But not saying.
saying
Yeah,
he got
yeah, no,
sniped.
yeah.
So there would have been no knocking out of his hand.
Like,
No.
Did they people wanted him dead? He should be long.
But
dead.
were they wanting him dead, or were they just trying to make a showing that he's not as strong as you think?
Well, if you're gonna do that, you might as well just kill him,
You could.
right?
Well,
Like
But maybe they're trying to like rile up the underworld.
It depends on who's behind that.
Right,
Yeah,
because,
that's the
like-
thing. We don't know who's behind it because we haven't. Last we saw of Fennec Shan, she was taking down one of them and had kept one alive. But then we don't see the present day stuff for the rest of the episode. We go back into the flashback.
Yeah.
So next episode, I'm sure we'll see the result of her bringing that dude there
Yep.
and
A
being
little bit
like
of interrogation. little
interrogation. He says he doesn't torture, but we'll see.
Yeah.
When push
That guy
comes
will
to
talk.
shove.
That guy
Yeah.
will talk.
That guy will talk. Of course he'll talk.
Yeah. And then I'm assuming we'll see more of the whole mayor shenanigans next episode for sure.
Mhm.
That's something I think that's going to be a really big piece of this whole season. Again, we're walking in sort of blind.
Sort of
yeah,
blind,
kind of blind,
because we don't like. Okay, with Mando, we knew what season 2 was gonna be. Season 1, we didn't have any idea. so fair enough.
We walk
Walking
in the
blind.
same way.
But here's the thing. I really like this show. Feels like a different show.
Yeah,
like it's because it feels more like it'll be like a crime, like almost like a mob show,
It's
but in space in the Star Wars universe. Which
it's almost slower, but in a good
yes,
sense,
yes.
right? Like
They're
Mando,
really building stuff up. right
Mando,
now.
we were always, other than that one episode on the snow planet, we were
That was
always
bad.
doing something and always rolling really quickly and going from place to place.
Yeah,
and
other
doing this
than the
and doing
spiders.
that, right?
Like so, this
This episode, we were very pulled back and we sort of methodically went through this to this to this to that.
Yes.
Like, this show's more character driven, whereas Mando is more like plot driven, right?
I totally agree with that. And we're going to shape it around our characters and see where
We'll what
see
happens
where
next
we
week,
end
right?
up. Right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know. There's 7 episodes, so we've only got 6 left, and
Yeah.
I don't know
I
what
don't,
they're
I don't know
gonna
where we're gonna go. Like,
Well, I have
honestly.
no idea what.
I don't know.
And
I think-
I don't even know where we're going next week.
No,
That's true.
I mean, other
other
than
than interrogating
other
that
than
guy.
like the big points of like interrogation, we're gonna see
Probably
more
the
of
mayor,
past,
more of the
something to do
past.
with the mayor.
Exactly.
Probably a little bit more with him on the court, but maybe not if they're depending on how long the interrogation takes. And then the other thing is, I guess the only way we get more flashbacks is if he has to go back into the tank. So how that
I'm
happens
sure
He's
he'll
gonna
end
get
up
beat up
back
a
in
crap
the
ton.
outside of the start, because I think we'll
He's
start with the
gonna-
flashback again.
We have to.
Right.
I think we'll see flashbacks all season long till we get up to like right before he met Mando
Yeah.
in season 2.
Yeah.
Like I think we'll just see, maybe even see flashbacks to him healing Fennec, but like we're gonna see how Boba's what he's been up to these past 5 years.
Yep, I think it's gonna be really nice to finally get a show that's contained.
Yeah,
right. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of in and out. It's
there's
just
not gonna be any Jedi.
It's just kind of gonna be its own little child and do its thing.
Though
right?
I still think we see Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, in the show.
Yep.
For one episode, he has to stop on Tatooine for something,
Yep.
and then Boba needs his help, and then Mando helps him for a mission, and then leaves. Kind of like what Mando's whole show was, where he'd stop somewhere, help a village or something, and then dip.
Yep.
Because
right. That's the only way to really fit him in the story, right?
well, because it's his show, and Fennec. Those are the two protagonists.
Yeah, and then but you have to see Mando because you want to
Hype up for season 3, which is
next
coming
year.
out next year. So yeah, or maybe later this year. It might be December.
I thought it was.
Or no,
I thought it was
not later
December
this year because this is 2021 still. But maybe it might be December 2022. I
That's
can't
what I
remember
was
because we have Kenobi that's still coming up
Yep.
this year in the next few months. So
Yep,
lots
to
of
do,
Star Wars,
lots to watch.
just not movies.
Nope.
For a few
Thanks on
years.
that one.
There's like 2024, I think. But anyways, Boba Fett. I did really like the episode. It was slower and it was short. It was only 38 minutes, but I do think it sets up a good show. I'm interested to see where they go next. I knew this was mostly going to be establishing. I just figured because it's a new show. It's not a new season.
No,
It's a character. Boba Fett's been in Star Wars a lot, but he's not been like well known. I mean, technically, he's only in 2 movies.
Yeah.
And well, 3 because he's in Attack of the Clones. So he's in three movies. 2 as the armor wearing Boba Fett.
Yep.
But like the thing is, we just don't know tons about him. Like other than he's menacing bounty hunter. So I think this is a good chance to delve into the character.
Makes the show so awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, it's like you don't know what to expect, and I do like that.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's coming next.
I think probably my favorite part about this episode is it feels like a pilot without the stakes of a pilot, right? You're starting to know your characters, you're starting to form a story, right? Everything's sort of new, but you know for a fact
People are gonna keep watching
that there's more coming.
Yeah,
right?
there's not like it's not
There's
like
no chance that this is the only episode we get. But I do like that it feels like we're building from the ground up and there's not a lot of like big universe.
even though it's Star Wars and they
Even
could
though
do
it
that.
is,
I'm
right?
liking that they're doing something
Simplified.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's most likely just going to stay on Tatooine for the most part, deal with the crime lords of Tatooine and like the fallout. Yeah, it's been 5 years since Jabba's gone, but Jabba ruled for like 30 years.
The simple things
What do you
that
do
make
when?
all of Star Wars so awesome.
Yeah,
Right? The more dirty details that we don't necessarily get to see a lot of when you're trying to push a movie plot through in 2 hours.
Exactly.
well,
Right?
because that's the thing. Like Star Wars is such contrast. You've got the Empire and like these
Yep.
great cities with like this great technology and this like beautifulness, and then you got Tatooine and these gritty undergrounds and these like dark criminal-led cities. Like that's so like you've got the seedy underbelly and the high rises,
Yep.
and it's like it's good to see a show focused on that, like
Yep.
the dirty underbelly of
Totally.
Star Wars.
Tatooine, Star Wars, yeah. And I'm interested to see where they go from here.
Any final thoughts?
Yeah,
on the
any
episode?
final thoughts or theories?
I don't know what. I
Yeah.
don't know what to theorize. Like I really don't know. Like there's
Yeah,
so much
it's just
we
so
could
much.
and could not do. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
I think theories will come more next week when we get a
Yeah.
bit more information.
More feel of what the show's going
Totally.
for.
Theory wise, it's not like we can really theorize. We know what happens to him by the end of the show because we know already. So
Totally.
not much to really theorize unless you want to theorize what he went through in order to get to this point. But other than that, no, good episode to start off with. And you kind of have to watch other Star Wars stuff in order to understand it. But
Know who Boba Fett is. You
No,
don't
no,
necessarily
no,
need to
like,
watch
as
Mando.
Long, as long as you know who Boba Fett is or this character, that's pretty much all you really need.
If you've seen Return of the Jedi, that's a good starting off point.
You're probably a 5-minute Google search away from understanding the show.
Yeah.
That's
pretty
true.
much.
Like you can
Like-
Google it if you haven't seen
Now,
it.
is this your first taste of Star Wars? I don't know why it would be.
Why would
but
you start with this? I don't know.
If
But if
someone
you're
really
starting
wanted
with
to,
this,
then it
start
works.
with this.
It's
Like get into
not-
Star Wars. It's a
Absolutely.
good franchise.
Other
But
than that, that's all I got.
yeah, I don't think I have anything else, so I'm just going to reiterate, like Nat said, hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell so you get notifications when we post videos. And from everyone here at the Prairie Grown Reviews team, see you guys next time.